Hello, welcome back to another week of meals. I have 3 meals for you this week, starting off with some homemade burgers. I'm taking my 80/20 ground beef here that I have defrosted, mostly defrosted, and I am adding a bit of mayo. I saw this little trick on a Best Foods recipe card and I really like it. It adds a bit of moisture and also a little bit more flavor. I'm adding my OG powders here. That is onion and garlic and some salt and pepper. Got to season that. Now, if you're worried about the mayo, you don't have to add it. The fat will cook out. A lot of it will cook out, but I like the way it turns out. Once I have seasoned everything, I want to make sure that it's all mixed throughout and completely distributed evenly. There is a section of this ground beef that didn't get entirely defrosted. So you'll see that little teeny tiny ball off to the side. You can see it right there at the top. I just leave that to continue to defrost and I mix the rest of the ground beef together. Now, I'm not sure if I'm the only one that does this, but does anyone else smell their food after they season it to see if they need to add any seasoning? I don't know. I feel like I can tell if something smells like it needs more seasoning. I don't know. If I am the only one, just let me know that down below in the comments. But anyway, here's the meat ready to be put on the stove. In the meantime, I'm just showing you all the goodies for the burger bar. We've got the hamburger buns, cheese. I have Caesar dressing, blue cheese dressing, a Caesar salad kit for the side, some tomatoes, pickles. We've got more mayo, relish, ketchup, and mustard. So everybody can pick what they want. Taken out some fries here. These are leftover fries actually from a restaurant that we didn't finish eating, and I just stuck them in the freezer. And I do that in the air fryer. So now I'm going back to the burgers here. I don't grill my burgers. We don't really use our grill a whole lot, so I'm just doing it in a fry pan on the stove. I'm not really sure why I put butter down. I don't normally do that, but I felt compelled to do that this particular evening. Once the butter is melted and the pan is up to temp, I go ahead and shape the patties and put them in. I like to press the patties down to try to keep the shape so they don't shrink too much. You can see I still got some nice color on the ground beef, even though I didn't grill it and I don't have a cast iron pan and all that. You're also probably noticing how much fat is rendering out of that burger, these 2 burgers, but hey, fat is flavor. A topping with some Munster cheese, let that melt, and here's Rob just assembling his burger. He's got all of his fixins that he likes. And I've got my bunless version here. I do have a side salad on mine with some, I think it was Caesar dressing, and that is mine. Colin had a very plain burger with some of those leftover fries and some Carl's buttermilk ranch dressing. I also stuck his in the air fryer to toast. Evening we had more sandwiches. I snagged this panini press for $10 on OfferUp. We are doing Cuban style sandwiches, starting off mine with some keto bread, which I am going to butter at the outside slices, well, the outside of the slices. Once I've done that, I am going to put some mustard down. Incidentally, I will link any recipes that I have down below or write them out. Spread that mustard so it's nice and coated for flavor. And then we're going to put down the fillings. We've got Swiss cheese, and we also have some ham here, just deli ham, and some hot capicola that I got from Aldi. And then the last bit that goes in the sandwich, you can put anything you want, obviously. This is Cuban-Inspired, but we've got some pickles as well. Close that up and take it to the panini press that I have preheated. So this is ready to go, nice and hot. I've got my sandwich going in there carefully. The thing I noticed about the keto bread is it has a tendency to fall apart, but if you just handle it carefully, and I actually like to store it in the fridge now, it holds its shape much better. After 2 to 3 minutes or so, I just check it and it looks pretty good to me. You just really want to make sure that the cheese is melted, I think, and that it's obviously not burnt. So there's my sandwich, taking it off to the side, slicing it, and here's me showing you exactly what it looks like on the inside. It was really, really a good sandwich. Very, very nice. The keto bread turned out well. It's a little on the thin side, obviously, but still really, really good flavor. Rob actually wanted his on sourdough, which is obviously not Cuban style, but look at that cheese just oozing out. It looks so good. So he's got his version here. And he served his with some salt and vinegar chips from Aldi right here. And then because he has to do things differently, Colin decided he wanted an Italian style sandwich, which is perfect because panini, I believe, is an Italian word. So he's got he's got Mexican bread here, some bolillo that was like $4 for $1 from the store. He's putting down, well, he coated the outside with butter and the inside with butter as well. He's got provolone cheese, and his favorite is prosciutto. He just loves prosciutto. And this is actually a really good, simple tasting, just a delicious sandwich. You could put more meat in there, but he just likes the prosciutto. And he's going to take that to the press and use it for the first time. I actually bought this because he just loves grilled sandwiches, so it was really cute to see him use it for the first time. It's got a little lock on the side to keep the handle down so that it stays nice and pressed. Look how excited he is. Just love that. It's a mom thing, I know. Okay, so here we go, moment of truth, opening it up to see what it looks like, and there you go. There is his pressed panini sandwich that he has to document and share with his friends, of course. Taking it out very carefully because those grill plates are very hot. Slicing into it, and there is his prosciutto panini with provolone cheese. I don't think he had any sides with this. Maybe he had a few of those chips, but he was very pleased with himself. That's my boy. Last meal for the week that I'm sharing is a tamale pie. Now, the name of the recipe, well, actually, this recipe comes from my friend, and she calls it a tamale pie. I have an old video that I will link in the cards and down below that is very controversial because people are like, it's not a pie, it's more like a casserole. So, whatever. I'm calling it a tamale pie because that's what she calls it. But here we go. Ground beef, onions, garlic. Again, recipe will be down below, the links for the old video. I actually halved my recipe because it makes quite a lot, and I think it actually turned out really well. So just keep that in mind if you make this recipe. We've got salt and pepper to season. Just stir that up a bit to make sure that the salt and pepper is distributed. And once the onions are translucent, then I go ahead and add the other ingredients, the canned ingredients. We've got some Rachelle. This deviates a bit from her original recipe, but she actually commented to me that she uses Rachelle as well. I did drain that, so all of these canned ingredients have been drained. We've got 1 can of original Rachelle, 1 can of medium olives, whole pitted olives, a can of sweet corn. You can also use frozen corn if you'd like. I've got some chili powder here. Gonna mix that all up and make sure it's, evenly distributed again. quick little taste test to see if it needs any more chili powder, salt, or pepper. And then I go ahead and add a bit more of each of those. One final stir. And one final taste, and then we are ready to go. I'm going to set that aside to cool and work on the liquid portion of this tamale pie or casserole. So as I mentioned, I have to this recipe, the original recipe calls for 3 eggs. So I'm doing 1.5 eggs. So to do my half eggs, I scrambled one of the eggs first and then just added half of it. We've got some milk here. And then some cornmeal. So it's going to be a little liquidy, you'll notice when I put all the ingredients together, but the cornmeal will absorb a lot of that liquid. So just do your best to make sure the egg is broken up because that acts as a binder as well. And the cornmeal will settle to the bottom at some point, but just do your best to mix it up, and then you can mix it up a little bit later. We've got some coconut oil spray that I'm using to grease my pan or my dish. And you can see here's the cornmeal that got kind of solidified at the bottom. So just mixing it up again and then adding it to the meat mixture. And then I'm going to combine that to make sure the cornmeal is distributed evenly, because that is, again, what I mentioned is going to help thicken the inside and bind the entire tamale pie or tamale casserole. You can see all of that liquid. As I mentioned, the cornmeal will soak up a lot of it. I choose to leave a little teeny tiny bit at the very bottom because I don't want it to be too soupy, but it should work out just fine if you just dump all of it into your casserole dish. So I'm just scooping it out with a ladle here to make sure that I've got meat and olives and all the ingredients evenly distributed. I keep saying evenly distributed, but evenly distributed in the casserole dish. So just speeding it up here. And you can see a little bit of that liquid still in the pot. Last and final step, we are going to add some of the magic ingredient that everybody just loves, and that is cheese. So I'm grabbing some sharp cheddar cheese that's pre-shredded. You can add as much or as little as you like. You can choose to cover this if you like when you put it into the oven, but I just leave it uncovered. Into the oven it goes, and when it's done, it looks like this. You can see my cheese is a little brown, but it just tastes so good that way. And then I served it with a side salad of hearts of palm, tomato, and avocado. Absolutely not seasoned, doesn't need it. It's such a good accompaniment to the tamale pie and so simple to do. Here is the inside, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, there is no layer of crust, so I can see how it's not really a tamale pie per se, but it is delicious nonetheless, whatever you decide to call it. I hope you guys enjoyed the meals for the week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.